Hi, Freelance Mushrooms here. We help freelancers and small digital B2B teams to succeed in their businesses. And today we have a guest, Shayne Carter, who is running the company called Portal IT. Shayne, could you please say a few words about what your company does?
Absolutely. So Portal IT is a managed IT services company. What that really encompasses is that desk side support. If you have problems with passwords, you need something to be able to, having challenges with printing, things of that nature. Then we have the infrastructure management, making sure your workstations and your servers and Wi-Fi, all that's working for you. And lastly, we have the cybersecurity resiliency piece. So we're making sure the world is protected from you and you from the world. We have a team of 3 people, including myself, and continually growing. And we are really looking to work with clients and businesses that are typically over 10 users and above. But we do help startups as well as smaller team businesses succeed.
I understand the majority of your customers are having at least 20 people in staff. Maybe you could give some examples. What exactly you should start outsourcing to somebody else at the size of, 3, 5, 10, 20, 30, 50 people. So currently my team, for example, we have around 30 people doing post-production, and I understand clearly what I should outsource today. Can you give your suggestions from your experience? What should happen at around 10, 20, 30, 50?
For me, it's not so much around like gating it around the amount of people. It's more around capacity planning as a whole. So if you have a team of 10 people and their labor utilization, if you're tracking that type of metric, is starting to hit that 60, 70, 80% range, you should really start looking at adding on another person into that department. So whether that's a technical department or administrative or sales, especially on the sales side of things, if you're starting to see that your leads and your prospects are starting to not have the same level of nurture and amount of touch points, then you should probably think about adding another salesperson, whether it's an SDR, sales development representative, or an account executive, to be able to handle that capacity. On the operational side of things, you're starting to see that tasks and deadlines are starting to get missed or they're becoming elongated, then you're starting to have a capacity issue, and that's a people problem. Or it's an efficiency problem, and that's where you start to look at tools or a better systemization of processes that will allow for that growth to happen without it being linear to, task to person design.
Can you give an example? I'll give you my example where I was facing the decision whether I hire extra person or whether I invest into software. And that's actually a difficult decision because sometimes person will still deliver better results. Sometimes software will, and it's a bit of a dilemma to know the difference. In my case, I had a team going through the job feed on Freelance platform, and the challenge was to optimize job feed using the platform's functionality. And to battle that issue, we could have either hired extra pre-sales person or to build a software which would shorten the feed and would select the jobs better based on different criteria and potentially even write partial cover letters to the jobs that are matched using AI. So eventually we ended up with a software and we got our current pre-sales team half more available. So they started doing more stuff on LinkedIn, more stuff on Clutch.co, and etc., etc. Can you give similar examples where actually it was better to hire a person, or maybe it was better to outsource something? Moreover, we are not software company. We had to hire someone to do it. So I'm sure you have lots of such examples.
Yeah. So when we're talking at the pre-sales side or on the sales side specifically, if you find that if you have 2 people in the business or 2 people in the team where one is the appointment setter, the other one is a closer. If the appointment setter is effective at what they do and they don't have any of the tools, or if they have all of the tools rather, and that's not what's in the way and it's now a them problem, this is where a good manager is going to understand if it's a people problem or a tools problem. And you'll notice that it's a tools problem when they're not using all the tools the way it's been designed. And that becomes now a process issue. It's a training issue, and obviously finding the right fit and putting the right people in the right seat. Whereas to go back towards it more being a people challenge, where now we're looking at adding people to the team, that's going to be looking at the overall capacity. How much how much effort are they able to put into a day without creating burnout? And if they're very effective with their time, you want to understand what their personality profile is and understand what their motivations are in their role to be successful. And then you want to try and replicate that and then find more people that are similar to them, but still complementary. Because you don't want to have, people A, people A, people A, people A, people A. You want to have A, B, C, D, right? You want to have people that complement as a team so they can really bounce ideas off of. And then, so going back to the idea that you've got a very effective person, but you want to be able to grow. If you have all the right tools in place, now it's a people thing. Let's find people that match the right profile and find those types.
Okay. So what questions do you usually ask your potential customer when you sit down on a table together with them?
Every conversation I start with is, what brought you to? How do we even get here today?
What's your perfect expected answer?
We
got hacked.
I don't want that. I don't want to have clients who are on fire. That's never a fun way to start your relationship. It's an effective one, but it's not fun. For me, the ideal answer is, we've realized that we need a partner to be able to help us succeed. They're not in a place of distress, they're not in a place of frustration. They just realize and understand that this is where an outsource is required or suggested. So outsource a specialist team like Portal IT for managed IT services, where we specialize and have the capacity to understand all of the challenges that a business could or should have. And because we work in an agnostic design where we work with various industries, we're able to look at not only what's in the box for you, but also what's outside of the box and can be brought in. And so when we're having these conversations with our prospects, it's very important to understand, what brought you to me today? Is it because of pain? Is it because of interest? Or is it because you understand that growth needs to happen? There are very different, I've never had the same answer twice, to be perfectly honest, other than the I'm on fire piece. So I would love to hear that we want to be able to invest in technology, and we understand we need a partner to do that.
You mentioned that you also help your customers with cybersecurity. Can you give an example at which size of a business usually people start? Let's imagine they have never been hacked before. They know their vulnerabilities, and they're considering it would be nice to improve their security level, but we just don't have time to figure that out. And all of a sudden, voila, somehow they met you. What kind of vulnerabilities they would have, so that if I have a team of 30 people, I can potentially qualify as a potential customer, right? What vulnerabilities may I have which I potentially ignoring, and which may cost me lots of time and money, if not the entire business, if they keep being if they ever get attacked, get challenged?
So you have 30 people, you have 30 different problems, plus your own infrastructure, your own hardware and your own software and services. So really you have 30 problems, because they're all their own individual and autonomous thing. So you have to understand what their risks are, because they're on social media, they're a worker in your business. They're not always thinking about what they're doing and how it impacts the company and you. And honestly, some of the worst offenders are the owners, to be perfectly honest. They're so focused on growth or their own life or whatever other challenges they've got going on, they're not paying attention to the nuances of, I probably shouldn't have clicked on that email. I've had more people at an owner and executive level be more of a problem than the receptionist or the salesperson. And so whether you're a one-person solo entrepreneur business doing drop shipping, or you're doing whatever you're doing, or you're a real estate agent, or you're a mortgage broker, your level of risk is still you. What you put in place to be able to protect yourself from the world is just as important at one person as it is at 30 people. So educating your team members, having a culture of transparency about things that are going on in the business, that's going to be more important to you as an owner and as an executive in your business than putting all the right tools in place. Because at the end of the day, the people are the problem more than the technology.
So what if you come over into the office and you see the passwords written down on the stickers on the monitors, and at the same time you pass by near the next employee and they share the password via WhatsApp, what kind of recommendation would you give to an entrepreneur?
Tell them to shut their doors.
Huh?
Tell them to shut their doors. No, to be perfectly honest,
I don't know, maybe would it be like LastPass or 1Password type of solution?
that's a great starting point, absolutely. So if we're talking about passwords specifically, there's a lot of things that go into it. There's a lot of nuance with it. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is utilize tools that will help protect your personal information. So good password manager is obviously really important.
And you should start using it from day one for yourself.
Hopefully.
Even if you're solo freelancer, you should start using it. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So there's solutions out there that support teams of 1 to teams of thousands, and they can be the same solution too. So you can actually grow with it without having to think about, okay, have I outgrown this platform?
What other healthy software subscription, let's say the small team of software developers or designers should start using at the size of 3 or 5 or 7 people? Like, you know, you previously mentioned if you're a designer, you probably would prefer having Google Workspace because it makes life so much easier for the majority of your customers and yourself. So Google Workspace, probably you would recommend from day one, even if you're a solo freelancer. By the way, which one is your preference? LastPass or 1Password?
You know what? They're all, if we're talking preference, Bitwarden's really good, Keeper's really good, LastPass was good, can be good. I'm not slandering a company, so please don't attack me. It really depends on the culture that they breed as well when it comes to how they handle breaches. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It's going to be the same whether they're a productivity platform or they're a security platform or what have you. Cybersecurity is just a gong show. So we want to look at how they handle their own information processes and how they communicate it as well. But if we're talking about password managers, I've used the majority of them. Some of my clients use Passportal from Enable. Some of them use LastPass even after their breach a couple of years ago.
Like me.
Yep. You know what?
Guilty.
As long as you change stuff afterwards, you're good.
I did.
So they've definitely adopted a better culture now post breach in 2021. Where actually I was just chatting, not to kind of derail this conversation real quick, but I chatted with one of the account executives for LastPass, and part of the issue was because of their parent company and their processes and procedures when it came to information management. So LastPass is actually separated from GoTo and is now its own platform again. So they have a lot more control over those things. But anyway, that being said, it's just important to, if we're talking about tools to have in place from day one, pick your platform. Google Workspace, Office 365, find something that works for your business. And maybe it doesn't work for your business 5 years from now, but start from something that allows for centralized management of your information so you have a clean place to work from and fully adopt it. If you're going to be a Google Workspace, live in Google Sheets, live in Google Docs, live in their publishing application, and utilize their tools to the fullest, because then you're actually spending the money the best way possible. Same thing for Office 365. Live in OneDrive, utilize SharePoint for sharing of information, utilize all of their tools, planner, booking. Like, it just really depends on your business and also who you're serving. If the majority of, say you're in Office 365 and the majority of your customers are in Google Workspace, there's probably a misalignment of tooling. So maybe if you're serving that majority of that, maybe adopt Google Workspace. Vice versa, if the majority of your clients are in Office 365 and you're in Google Workspace, think about moving to Office 365. Consult with a company like Portal IT or another information management company to really help with that navigation too, because it is a shared. It can be painful if it's not managed appropriately and if you don't have a partner that understands what that shift looks like.
So imagine the situation that I have a dilemma of dealing with, 10 terabytes worth of video files. And for me, Google Drive and Dropbox is equally well used by my clientele. And I also have a challenge whether I should sign up with Microsoft Teams or maybe use Google Meet or Zoom, which is going to impact my pre-sales team operations. And I'm also considering to transition to Google Workspace. I recently have transitioned very late, but anyways, but let's say I have that on my table too. So basically I can sign up for a consultation with for LIT potentially and have a meeting with those suggestions.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're thinking about that and you really don't know which one you should go for, which one you're leaning towards, we offer no cost for consultation. Let's chat. Let's have a conversation.
Oh, really?
If nothing else, I want to make sure that we set you up for success, whether you decide to work with us or not. It's no skin off my back if you choose not to work with me and my team. It's more important that I give you solid advice, actionable information that you can make a decision from. And that's more important than, me capturing just a little bit of extra revenue.
And when you grow, basically, it will build some loyalty to close the deal when the customer is ready.
Yeah.
And that's actually nice advice how to approach negotiating with the customers, about which we're going to talk in the next episode.
It's really important to give value first if you can. And that's where we find that we can provide really important value is here's all of the information. You asked us what our recommendation is. This is what we're suggesting. This is how we would go about it. And this is how anybody else should be going about it. Because not only are you giving information, but you're also setting a bar. You're creating that level of value and that level of trust, but also forcing others to level up with you. All of your competitors need to meet that same bar or they're coming back to me. And that's okay. I don't mind you coming back to me. We're not a revolving door, don't get me wrong, but I would much rather you shop me out. It's okay. I don't mind. I have competitors. I know who they are. I know who the legitimate ones are, and I know who the ones that aren't. And if you like working with me, that's amazing. If you don't, also amazing. We've sorted each other out. That's okay. Sales is about sorting. Some people are good, some people are not. Next. So
Cool. Great. This was Freelance Mushrooms. Make sure you like and subscribe and watch our next episode about how to negotiate with your customers.
thanks so much.